Glad to have you, Daniel. Glad to have you. So, yeah, we'll see. We might have a special guest or two. I don't know. And at some point we'll open the gate and just let everybody come and pop in here. Give us your thoughts on tonight's going to be centered mostly around King G. We're going to talk some King Ghidorah, my friend. So, you teased a little bit, like it was kind of fun for you to kind of revisit and kind of get into and that kind of thing. So, talk a little bit about that. Like, which ones did you watch? How did you do some prep? What are some of your thoughts?
Well, I mean, for prep for this one, I wound up there's a couple things I wound up watching. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch like the one I really wanted to watch, which was Godzilla Final Wars. But I did wind up watching the original Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, as well as the 1991 Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Yep, 91. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I think I've one-upped you. I can't believe this. This is unheard of on Talk Hard, folks. I've watched Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Destroy All the Monsters, and Godzilla versus Gigan. So I watched all the four of the originals from the 60s and 70s, and I also watched the 91, the Godzilla versus King G. I only got to see part of the rebirth of Mothra 3, which I really, really enjoy. That's in 98, and what I really enjoyed about that was they wanted to try to change some of their strategies of showing King Ghidorah, because they were like, you could tell they were much more aware of like budget and trying to scale up a little bit, that kind of thing. I didn't really get the chance to watch the other one. There's one more of the All Out Attack, and I didn't get a chance to watch any of the anime ones that are on Netflix. The Plant Eater one, I think, is the one that has King G in it. I didn't get a chance to watch. I've watched the clip, so I know what it looks like. But yeah, no, it's been a fun time. It's been great, and I will say, I have to admit that. Let's see here. Trying out this stream to your audience feature. So we're streaming live on the Ironcaster TV. Is that where we are?
We are indeed. It's a feature that I've been seeing kind of available on StreamYard. I've only dabbled with it like once or twice, and so I figured, what the heck? Why don't I just try to pop that out? So let's see what happens.
Yeah, indeed. Let's do that. I'm all about that. I noticed it on Restream. There we are. Yes, I do see. I'm over on your channel now. So there we are. So I got you pulled up. So yes, let's do this. So yeah, I think that's a really, really great idea to do that. I did also add the next couple of shows already. So we'll try to make sure we include that as well in those plans. So sounds great. So Zax is here. Hey brother, hope you're doing all right. Great to see you rolling in here as well. Adega Outlaw, hey brother, great to see you. Let's see, did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. So let's see. Seeing Godzilla stomp Zilla, it's like nothing is fantastic in Final Wars. Yeah, yes.
Personally, I think anyone who is a Godzilla fan is gonna really enjoy Final Wars, just because almost every single monster you've ever been a fan of in it. Plus, then you get all this like martial arts stuff in here. You get like actors getting really dial up. It's really cheesy. It's a really fun movie.
Okay. I have to admit that of all of the stuff from the old ones that I really do enjoy, there's nostalgia element, especially of the costumes and some of the models and all that kind of stuff. King G is probably one that I don't enjoy quite as much until we get into the couple of films. We got to get a little bit away from that first one. But I will admit, when you get to the 91, I think the 91 one might be my favorite of the older ones. I don't know. What about you? You have a favorite from the older ones?
So I'm always in general just a fan of the early Showa era.
Yeah.
Because there's something about like the rubber suits. It's just a little, I guess it's a little cheesier, but I kind of like it. It's something kind of refreshing and familiar about it. Just, it's like, yeah, it's obvious. It's more obviously like actors on a set, but it's just fun ultimately.
All right. Well, you guys in chat, tell us which ones are your favorites. Badass is saying, I saw Mothra on a bridge in West Virginia. It's out there. All right. Trust me, on the farm, I've seen some moths that are so big, I think they could be the new Mothra. So yeah, there's some there. It's one that was the size of my hand. It was this ridiculously sized moth. So we got a shark cast it up. Yes, Chris, thank you for dropping those emojis in there. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so I think, and I'm not trying to diss on the rubber suits and the costuming or all, because obviously that's the OG. It's still a lot of fun. But I think that once we get to 91 and then kind of moving forward, we end up, and reality is this is one of the things in the new MonsterVerse films that is probably my favorite thing. I have to be honest. We can do dragons now, like the CGI and stuff to make dragons is great. So the fact that we're going to get a nice three-headed King Ghidorah in King of the Monsters was a blast. I enjoy it, and I enjoy those sequences a lot still. So I don't know about you, Ironcaster. How do you feel about even the new one?
Well, the thing is, I just prefer the rubber suits. Like in the last couple of years, I've been really delving into a lot of tokusatsu, a lot of these special effects shows out of Japan. It's a lot of Kamen Riders, a lot of Ultraman, Super Sentai, Power Rangers. That I like the showmanship that goes into trying to make these giant rubber suit monsters look exciting. So
Yeah.
I get a bit biased there. I much prefer the rubber suit stuff or something like, for example, Shin Godzilla, where it looks like it could be a rubber suit, because that movie fooled me.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I would much rather have like rubber suit monsters fighting than trying to like do tons of CGI. It's done to death. I just want some simple effects.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Daniel says he also loves the rubber suits, brings real heart to the performance because it's an actual performance, not just special effects. I think that's kind of a nice summary of what you're trying to get at. Fair enough.
Well, also, I think it's also because for one of my first jobs was playing a mascot, so I got to wear like the costume suit and walk around and like entertain kids. So so I kind of connect to it.
Hence the Sharkcaster mascot. I think it's all about it. Yes, indeed. Chris got that link there for you guys. Ironcaster has got us up on a simulcast, so check that out. King Ghidorah was based on the original director telling the creature people to make it have 3 heads, 2 wings, 2 legs. Monster designers merged the ideas, Hydra and the Yamato no Orochi. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Matt always knows. Yeah, he's an encyclopedia of this. Lord Thos is in the house. Hey, brother.
LT.
It seems as though Ironcaster is hard. Good to know. All right, here we go. So, seeing the original Godzilla film, Godzilla 2000, Godzilla 885, Destroy the Monsters, etc. Yeah, there you go. Checking the boxes. Big thing. I don't know how to. The name is a lot. I'm going to go Weed Billa. How's that? I'll go with the end. The Weed Billa. Let's see. Was Godzilla played by George Papard in the 1980s? I don't think so, but maybe. Also seen the Mothra, the Adrian and Rhoda. Yeah, there's so many films now. We're into the 20s, like 20 something films. So it's great and it's a lot of fun. Always cheering for the Godzilla, that's for sure. So, but here we go. We got to go. Oh, wait, I gotta switch back because I went over to check out Ironcaster's simulcast, and then it finally popped up for me. So I have this option here. There we go. Shelly become a member. Thank you so much, Shelly. Appreciate you. Why is it not popping up? Why won't it share? All right, well, it won't share. So I don't know why it will do that, but I appreciate that very much, Shelly. Thank you so much. There it goes. All right, thank you so much for joining the Chris. What do you call him? Pop-O-Matics? I think Chris likes Pop-O-Matics. Yeah, being a member of the old Pops verse. Thank you so much. She's always been a great supporter and a friend. That's awesome. And I probably owe her a. Are you ready for this crazy movie? Oh, bad movies to Ironcaster. Tu Wong Fu. That cross-dressing, isn't it? Patrick Swayze, Julie Newmar, and Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie. Yeah, Terrence Stamp. Yeah, it's in the other one. This is the Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze one. So yeah,
Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. Everything with an exclamation point.
Yes,
Julie Newmar.
Yeah. So, I'll get to that, Shelly. I did not forget you were. It's definitely noted. So, thank you so much for being a member. Appreciate you so much.
Huh.
Pat S is pointing out that it must be hot in that suit. It must be hot in those suits. I cannot imagine. It must be crazy because those are like, I mean, this is OG stuff in the 60s. So they had to be like actual rubber suits. So, and you had to hand it to the props department for making all the miniature models. That is by far probably some of the most amazing elements of it when you think about this is like this is early 60s because the first film is 64. So you're talking about just massive amounts of stuff and miniatures are doing. They're setting off, mock explosions and destroying things and trying to keep all the continuity and stuff going. So yeah.
I had to.
Yeah, this is that one I mentioned briefly, the Godzilla the Plant Eater one. Yes, that is the Netflix one. Angry. Yeah, there's 3 on there, but yeah, the Plant Eater one is the one who has him in it. I watched the clip, and again, I've not tried to pretend that I'm big into anime, so it just may not totally be for me, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, one of the really interesting things with King Ghidorah is almost time and time again, he's a threat that is not of Earth. That I mean, from his initial inception to almost every iteration of him, King Ghidorah has been like some sort of alien entity that's then come to Earth that Godzilla then fights. He is, the outsider challenging the king of the monsters for his throne, which is to say, the entire planet.
Okay. Looking up the A-Team reference where they're having him in the costume. I haven't found the photo. You'll probably find it before I can even get to it. But that is the explanation of the back and forth over George Papard in the A-Team reference of him hiding in the rubber suit. I haven't found the photo yet from the A-Team. But yeah, and I remember exactly what you're saying. Always a disguise. There it is. I got it now.
Okay. I got to see what you got here.
Yeah, here we go. Get it pulled up. Yeah, it takes me back. Now I get it. I get the reference now, guys. Sorry for the it took a minute for the kaiju reference. There we go. Yeah.
Looks like he's hanging out on like a golf course.
Well, he has a stogie, so he can't not have the stogie. So they've got it all totally to go right there. So yeah, good reference, badass. Thank you, Matt, for helping us track that down, so we can get that for you guys. Yeah, kaiju, and right there, baby. That's some kaiju references for you. We're deep in the weeds with that. So, okay, so this is an interesting question. Toho monster films. Any other recommendations?
Okay, so I guess it would depend. Actually, you have a lot of options. Probably one of the easiest things I could recommend right now is something that's actually very current and available to you since you're already on this platform. Subaraya Productions, which owns Ultraman, has been uploading a lot of their own shows straight to YouTube. So, in fact, if I just pull up their channel real quick, I will show you that you can actually watch a lot of Ultraman from like Subaraya Productions on YouTube. And for some of it, they're actually they'll put it up with subtitles. Their series they will put up with full dubbing, where they've gone and they've produced a full show. You can watch it as easily accessible as possible.
And I think Pillar, you said you already saw Destroy All Monsters and All Monsters Attack, right? There's 68 and 69. Those are both a lot of fun. So, and if you really like cheesy, I mean, I don't know about you, Ironcaster and I both like cheesy. Yes. Space Amoeba is also one that's kind of out there. It's kind of a lot of fun. So, all right, here's the channel. Yep. There you go. You can look for that Ultraman logo, and then you can find all this other stuff that's just loaded up, man. There's tons of stuff.
Yep. There's full English dubbing available. Full 25-minute episodes. Here's a trailer for the new series they're doing, Ultraman Blazer, which is going to be available from July 8th. So this is a brand new series that they'll be premiering straight up on YouTube for everyone to see worldwide. That has its own whole complication of legal rights that had kind of prevented a lot of Ultraman from being available outside of Japan for years because of a bad deal with a company from Thailand that tried to insist they had the global rights. Like it was a legal battle that lasted decades. It's a really interesting story, actually.
And Weeb, I didn't go back to your full list there too, but the '90s, the early '90s, when they dabbled with some films, and you end up with some really good stuff in there too. By the way, so that era is some that I really do enjoy. So that Godzilla versus Mecha, that Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, stuff like that. That was all some fun stuff, and I really enjoyed dabbling with some of that. They're not all easy to find for free, but they are out there. So hopefully
And
that helps you out a
also,
little bit. So
I would be remiss if I did not mention you can watch quite a bit of Godzilla on Tubi.
awesome. Well, before I get too far away from it, Shelly, thank you so much for donating 5 memberships. We appreciate you so much for doing that. Folks, if you haven't already, there's a little green uh, package box at the top. She's donated 5 memberships. If you're not already a member, click that box, allow gifts, and let her help you become a member of the channel, and appreciate that so much, Shelly. It's awesome of you. Thank you so much. She's always been so generous, helping us out and growing and partnering, that kind of thing. And again, folks, for those of you that are members too, always looking for those suggestions, recommendations, things like that. I will definitely be doing. And again, I do these streams that are, quote, for members, but it's like it's open to the public. But it's like, for the members, you guys get to kind of come on with me and hang out, and we'll talk about what you guys want to talk about. So the next one, I'm trying to fit it in next Wednesday. I don't know yet. I'm trying to fit it in. So we'll see after our 50th show celebration. So, but thanks again, Shelly. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for donating. That is so amazing. Thank you so much. Yes. Groovy. Yes. Throw out those emojis. Yes. Sharkcasta. Okay, so Daniel's going back to that model building. They painstakingly create all those city models by hand, only to have Godzilla stomp on the bits. Yeah, and with all the explosions and stuff like that, it's crazy. So, good vibes. Yeah, so here, Shelly is, this is the Tu Wong Fu thing. So it was, quote, her guilty pleasure, guys. So we didn't really get into the story, but it is a crazy, silly film that I have to admit I saw in a theater. So I will definitely do a rewatch and a video on it.
Just to pull up the box art here, if you'd be so kind as to.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes. Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo. Yep. Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Yeah, there you go. So yes, I will definitely get to that. And if I don't get to it next week, it'll be the week after that. So yeah, it definitely is on the list. Thank you, lady. Thank you. All right, back to our regular show programming with King Ghidorah conversation. And Matt is saying, yes, my only issues with some of the people who prefer the rubber suit era is many of them also associate Godzilla solely with the badly translated American versions, which accentuated the campiness. Well, I don't think that includes Ironcaster and some of the other folks that are here. I get what you're saying, Matt, because I think I was talking to someone at work about rewatching both versions of the original. They didn't, the one that doesn't have Raymond Burr in it, and they were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, go watch the original one. The score and everything is so much better than the American version. Like it's just cut well. It's just cut. It's a better film. That's all."
See, I do need to sit down. I need to do that sort of back and forth comparison on those, because I do kind of tend to prefer the dubs. As kind of cheesy as they are, but that's the way I grew up watching them. That's just kind of what I got used to.
And if nothing else, if you've never done it, I mean, it's not like you have to watch every single minute, because you can just kind of, skip a little bit, because, the film is pretty much the same. But basically imagine the original film is canon, and then imagine they have another film that's more like from someone who was there during the events of the first film, and this is their film. Like it's almost like it doesn't really undo the first film. It's more like it just adds information from like an American perspective, as though an American journalist is on the ground and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the best way to, I think, kind of nicely package them together, in my opinion. So, all right. I don't think I missed anything. Okay. The monster Hannibal played was called something like Aqua Monsteratic, Masteric, or something like that. Oh, interesting. I'm sure someone in the chat will find that. It's on A-Team. Yes, it was definitely like a creature thing. So, and we're still quoting A-Team. That's what the plan coming together stuff. So, Matt is also throwing out some Toho recommendations there. So Weed Peeler, if you hadn't gotten those. And then there's here reuse the Godzilla suit with a modification for Ultraman's monster enemies. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that,
Everything was recycled. I know that. So
yeah, like they would take like one of the Godzilla suits, and they just put like a big old fin on it, and they call it like Barugan, or they would call it some other name I keep forgetting.
Awesome. Okay, so let me get to this thing. You preferred the rubber suits, but you didn't really give me your thoughts on King of the Monsters. This iteration of King Ghidorah, this film, I think we all kind of agreed that we weren't in hate of the new Godzilla film or the new King Kong film. We're all just sort of like, okay, they're fine. But then we really didn't get to King of the Monsters. So what was some of your take on the King of the Monsters film? Because I have to admit, I don't know if we have footage pulled up or not, but I think just because of the way they put the effects together, they kept it very dark. They used different angles and things like that. So it's not as green screen and CGI bad like some of the other stuff is that we're getting regularly now. That's just my take on it as I rewatched it. I just felt like it actually held up pretty good. And I'm, again, not trying to justify the whole film and the human sequences and all that. I just wanted to, what's the take on King G and all this?
Oh, I think King G, Big G was a great choice for this movie. He's like one of the most iconic enemies, and just that silhouette really works for the movie. Getting to see like they are just these. Let me pull up an image here. Getting to see them just wrecking like entire cities with their fights. It's it's always so cool. It's hard to hate it because it does look good.
Okay. I want to make sure I understood because I kind of feel the same way. I think the other thing they did too, and I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and go for it. I know we may, because I'm going to take that down for a second and we just keep it. Just don't, don't do anything with it. Just let me share a video real quick here.
Oh, sure.
Because I want to show this footage here. Because I think what was interesting is the way they use the lightning, like to show us images and stuff to kind of keep the graininess there, so we don't end up with that scissor cutout layers that we get with the bad CGI. We get this interesting lighting that happens. We're in the dark, but then when there's a lightning strike, we get pieces of stuff, then it goes dark again. To me, that really enhanced. I hate these terms like believability, but maybe it's the immersion. It helped me really immerse myself into these sequences, I think, pretty well.
Well, it also does a good job of sort of hiding, of not having to necessarily have as many details for the monsters for the fights. So it's like there's a reason why they always do them at dark, is because we don't have to be as intense with the CGI for these.
Well, they look better. I mean, it's all there is to it. It looks better. You can pull it off better. And I think now I think they just, and I will also say the color contrast, right? The way they, in this film, the way they did the blue versus the gold and the bright colors, like they just did a great job of having nice comparison contrast with the color palette and things like that they were going for with these effects. Then yellow goes back. That's just beautiful. I really enjoyed this. I get what everybody says, and I am not dissing the rubber suits or my love of the rubber suits, but I will say, when it comes to this film, this is a sequence that I have no problem rewatching and enjoying. That's for sure. I think this was just great.
Although I was never really too fond of like the way they sort of designed Godzilla for this movie. Just he looks too, like his head is like kind of sunk into his body. It doesn't look quite right.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of shots where he's like flattened or something. It's just not quite right. So, yeah, Matt, I totally get that. I think I've said that several times. Like, I totally have no problem with the MonsterVerse because I don't watch most of the films. I just watch the monsters. So I got to be honest. I can probably go through is it 4 films we have now? So we have 2 Godzilla films. we have the Kong film, and then we have the Godzilla versus Kong film, right? So there's 4 films, right?
Oh yeah.
I bet I could probably do that all. I bet I can watch all 4 films technically in 2 hours because I just don't watch all the human stuff. I just keep it moving.
Although it is a bit of a shame because King of the Monsters has Charles Dance in it, and he's always great in anything he's in.
And I don't hate Hiddleston in Skull Island, and I don't hate the helicopter sequence in Skull Island. Some of
Oh,
that stuff's fine. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I didn't miss anything in chat. Let's see. Common Nerd is here. Hey there. I didn't say hey to you. Hopefully you're doing all right. Iron Caster's talking about those dark shots makes it easier on stage. Absolutely. We can go all the way back to Marvel's Hulk movie, the Ang Lee one, and why it didn't work. And it's like they put the green colors up against that, bright sand, and it just looked like a cartoon. It looked terrible at the time. It just looked terrible. So Princess Leia Rose is in the house. Hey there. So everybody's saying hey back and forth. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's kind of my general take on it. I think I had no problem or no lack of enjoyment in revisiting some of the older films. I did really enjoy them, but I also had no problem sort of like immersing myself in King of the Monsters. Especially in that I've watched that King Ghidorah fight scene with them like 4 or 5 times now. Last couple. So.
One of my favorite scenes from that movie was of all things Rodan, when Rodan is like flying over the city, and just the beating of the winds he sweeps up just wrecks the city just with his passing by.
Yeah, they really modernized that, and I think that Rodan has really kind of been one of the fun characters to see how it's evolved over the years. Like I really, just everything about that, just the entire sequence versus the jet airplanes and stuff was interesting. Like it was like one of those things where as a kid I always wanted all of this, and now that I have it, I was unsure if I was going to like it or not. So for those of you, make sure maybe you've never seen it, or maybe you don't like it and you don't want to see it, but Pop's going to make you watch a little bit of it. How's that? I kind of liked a lot of it. I got to be honest. I enjoyed some of this. And again, look at the dark. They hide a lot of their problems. They hide a lot of their faults and their little lines and things like that. So it never gets too far. I don't think his design is terrible either. I think I'm okay with Rodan's design. What do you think?
Yeah, his design was one was one that just kind of got overlooked because people look at him as like, hey, he's a pterodactyl. He looks kind of like a pterodactyl. There's nothing really outside of the ordinary there. I think it was actually the one that was probably the most controversial was Mothra for people.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Mothra, actually, now that you bring it up. I'm not sure. I'm kind of hit or miss on Mothra.
Like, you want to make Mothra look kind of cute.
It's tempting
or go for that sort of kind of ugly enough that, like, people love it. Because that's also a thing you can do with sort of the ugly cute.
Yeah, I think the thing with Mothra, what you're trying to capture is that, with a moth, it has like a hairy body, right? The texture is different than the scales on these critters. So that's the one element that is kind of important with Mothra. And again, that's why a lot of people think that Mothra is a female, right? Because it has the 2 fairies, as its representative and communicating with these monsters on its behalf. So, all right, here's our great. Look at this. Rodan versus. Come on, we don't want the humans. Just get back to the creatures. Stop it already. There we go. Yeah, I like that shot. I really do enjoy all this.
Yeah, it's such a.
You pulled up this though. It's just so beautiful. They really did pull off some of these shots, and they gave us a lot of fun stuff to enjoy. Yeah,
like this is like wallpaper quality.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Matt's pointing out the obvious here. The human parts in Skull Island are fine. It's that they realize that Kong and the Kaiju are the main stars. Yes, amen, brother. It seemed like it's only one of the 3 God millions that they realized Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, it was just one of those things where I don't know. The human stuff I have to admit, rewatching a lot of the old films, I felt the same way. Like I would look at the timer and realize that I've gone 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I need some kaiju, please. So maybe it's because of the nostalgia part. I'm not as hard on it or critical on it. I'm willing to admit that. Fair enough. So
Well, I mean, the whole too much humans has been the largest, has been the like sole complaint that has been ever consistent with these movies. People have been saying that for nigh on 50 years.
right. Yeah. Lord Thoth's right. Yeah, I know there's a cost. Well, the other part too is Lord Thoth is we literally are trying to use some sort of human representation to put us in the film. I think the problem is with these new films, the MonsterVerse, kind of like what Matt was saying, is they're trying to make the human relevant. So it's not just like the humans are caught up in the middle of a monster battle, but they're always like they're integral to the storyline and the plot. Whereas I think I just enjoy it more when they're just trying to survive the chaos and the mayhem. I don't like it as much whenever they're supposed to be relevant. Not cool at all. Don't enjoy that at all. So another great shot. Just beautiful.
Yeah, even though like the right head has always been kind of considered the derpy one of the three from this movie.
Yeah, Kevin. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Fans did give him a name.
Yeah, Kevin. Kevin doesn't pay attention. Kevin's not really aggressive. Kevin's like, "What's that over there?" Yeah, it's just, it's kind of fun. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Kind of having some of that. It's. So, yeah. All right, with you guys in chat, what do you guys? What else? What else, kind of, Arcaster? Before we let, I think we should open it up. Let chat consider coming up in here a little bit. What do you think?
Then I thought I'd show off like one of the original concept art pieces that I happen to find.
Oh yeah.
But one thing, real quick, I thought it was kind of a fun little thing from the '91 movie. I wanted to bring up. Did you happen to catch the? Did you happen to catch the part with the Americans? These two,
Okay.
because this was the one where they do time travel, which has apparently become a thing in our little circle of the internet. Is like everyone's trying to find like time travel movies.
Right. Okay. Yep.
I'm gonna blame Culture Casino somehow.
Okay. Yeah. I when I watched this, I have to be honest. The time travel reference was there, and I just kind of like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? I don't think I got myself kind of immersed into this whole thing, but you're right. There's a little time travel reference going on there. Yeah.
So in this movie here, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from '91. Just to make sure I get that one out there because there's like 30 Godzilla movies. It's easy to pick them up. We're back in the past during World War II on one of the little island chain, one of the little like island chains where a bunch of Japanese soldiers are holed out. And what the movie sets up is that on this island, these Japanese soldiers are holed up, fending off against the Americans. The Americans wind up encountering a Tyrannosaurus Rex and basically get chased off because of this thing that the movie is supposing is actually what winds up getting radiated into Godzilla because of the atomic weapons testing. Our cast of main heroes travel back in time to this island where these Americans up on the boat happen to see this big old like comet ship flying by, and they're like, "That's got to be an alien. No ship can travel that fast. Should we go and tell the superiors?" And tell them what? No. We're gonna keep this between us. Why don't you hold on to this story and you can tell your son, Major Spielberg.
Major Spielberg, right? Yep. Major Spielberg. That's right. Yeah, it was. I got to be honest. I was really just in this, the whole back and forth of the time thing and the contrived nature of, the Japanese won't surrender, and here's what we're doing. Now we're going to be in the 23rd century, and Japan's now an economic superpower with the bigger than all these other, bigger than U.S. even, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Can we get back to the kaiju, please? Like, but not as irritating as some of the other films, and not as irritating as some of the modern stuff. So, Common Nerd, by the way, yeah, don't misconstrue that we're saying this is an incredible film. Like that's, I assume you're referring to the new one, the 2019 King of Monsters, but we can say that it's definitely satisfactory. Yeah, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So,
Yeah, you went to
is that
Monster.
ACM, the MonsterVerse one? Okay, there. Yeah, yeah. No, it was pretty intense. It's pretty good. I liked it. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I think again, it's satisfactory. I don't think it's, but again, the humans are the problem. And Vera Farmiga's character, you're just gonna be like, oh god, why is she not stepped on yet? Just do it with her. It only gets worse. It's just yeah, yeah. So blame the
And I
weave.
mean, just to point it out, Godzilla movies have always been had these sort of kind of messages into them. I mean, it's obvious the original Godzilla is a tale about the terrors of atomic weapons, sort of
Right.
thing. And one of my favorite ones, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, is very much a story about don't pollute kids, because then people like have drug trips with creepy fish mask
Oh man, yeah. I have not
happen.
watched that one. Oh my gosh, Smog
Oh,
Monster.
oh, you need to watch it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a crazy. Yeah, but even like I don't know. I just because there's so many of them, you can just kind of get lost into Godzilla verse and like just the amount of movies that now exist. Right? It's like you're right. Leia says it here, just so classic. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Awesome one is here, by the way. Kaboom! How you doing, man? Dropping in. Awesome. Thanks, bro. Um,
Kaboom!
yeah. So let me see. Did I miss anything else in chat? I don't know. I think I did. But yeah, I put the link there, folks. If any of you guys want to join in, if anything, contribute to anything you think, you have a favorite, you have one you think we should mention or spend some time on. Like I said, I really enjoyed the footage of King G, of what they tried to do with Rebirth of Mothra 3. I don't know that you said you didn't get the chance to rewatch that one, right?
I don't think I've had a chance to watch the Mothra trilogy. Period.
Right.
So that's definitely on my list. I need to get to.
Yeah, it was really like that they were, again, I'm not saying it was even like purpose. It was like fantastically well done. It's just that you can see what they were trying to go for with some of the footage so that they could try to like scale up a little bit. I was trying to get it pulled up here real quick here. Everything is a review. Come on now, guys. I know I watched it earlier today. I had it saved. Ah, geez. I'll find it in a minute. King G's footage is pretty good in that sequence. Just that first part in particular, I really liked.
Just to show off one of my some of the other.
Oh boy, yep, that's some.
Yeah, so it's literally it's a pollution monster that's going around and starts like sucking up. That goes around to factories, starts sucking up all the pollution, getting bigger and stronger. It's a '70s movie that's doing the whole save the world. It's that eco-friendly messaging.
Right.
Also, like it looks like Ghidorah throws his poop at Godzilla.
That's true. That's true. Yep. Look at the texture on the suit. I mean, they're not even trying to like change the lighting or anything. They're just like, yeah, it's just us in a suit. You can really tell with the cities and stuff because of the way they lit the back versus the front.
Mm-hmm. But
and I've always said I think that because all the originals are in black and white, one of the reasons it works so well too, like it really does hide some of those effects work well. Matt's pointing out that if you remember that some of this Mothra stuff was also for kids, helps a lot. So yeah, he's also saying that figurine from Final Wars. Yeah. Oh, let me tell you what, some of the toys and figures and stuff for the Godzilla franchise are really good. I have to be honest. I really do enjoy that for sure. All right, so let me get this here. So this is how it kind of comes in. This little shot, like here. I know the way they cut the angles and things like that. You just get some really nice. See, I didn't care for this shot when they're on Mothra, but they try different angles to give you some different for the effects. They tried some different things, which I think I don't know, when I was rewatching it, I was like, that was a good technique right there. That was good. That was a good effort. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Where they try, it's a shortcut. See how it's a faster cut, and they kind of change the angles instead of it being the longer drawn out shots.
Well, I mean, it's literally become an entire industry in Japan. They've experimented with this for decades. That there's got to be like, the book on how to do these that I'm sure they all pass around. They have their production notes of, if you want to do these kaiju films, if you want to have a rubber suit monster, you gotta shoot it in this way. You gotta have the camera set at just the right angle to really emphasize how to make it work. Obviously don't avoid shooting from the top down to make it look small.
That's true. And see how they don't even they kind of close in a lot, and they cut off some of the body, so they keep just a large scale representation when fighting Mothra. You don't lose any perspective, like you said, by shooting at the wrong angle. And they go, you just cut to the explosion. Yeah. So a lot of the King G stuff I thought worked really, really well in this movie. And man, when my boys were young, they love Mothra, man.
Oh,
yeah, this is Mecha Mothra, man. This he's all armored up. Armored up Mothra is pretty tough, man.
Oh, I didn't even know they did a Mecha Mothra.
Yeah, he's armored up. I think he's just technically armored. I don't think he's Mecha. So I don't think that would be the appropriate terminology. That would be, I think, just armored up. Yeah.
I just found an interesting photo. I don't know like how authentic this is, but this almost looks like one of those 70s Godzilla heads that's been left to rot and deteriorate.
Oh, geez. Look at all the intricacies, though. Huh.
It's always so interesting to just kind of see like how that all worked.
Yeah, they got a lot of components that are in there. That is very interesting. Imagine trying to sell somebody on that though, because you don't have the skin, so you're just kind of like, I can't buy this. No, but when you look at the final product, yeah, that's really, really fascinating.
It's like cool. Looks like the upper jaw is literally just like it with just string is tied to the actual like metal frame for the top lip.
All right. Leia Rose is asking about our smog monster. The smog monster's name is technically Ghidorah, by the way. And yes, he is an alien. He feeds on the pollution. I don't remember. I have to look here to see. Hang on. Let me try to pull up because it's Godzilla versus Ghidorah. So, yeah, I don't remember if there's a different name or anything else to go on to. But anyway, yeah, alien, feeds on pollution. Definitely was like an on the nose sort of, eco warrior. There we go. Thanks, guys. You got it.
Well,
mentioning Godzilla and Space Godzilla. Yeah, that's another reference. Good job. Go ahead, buddy.
I happen to have a couple of names for that film up. Obviously, we have Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. That was the U.S. release. In Spain, it was Ghidorah, the Toxic Bubble. We also have, let's see, because some of these are kind of similar on themselves. The Netherlands calls him Satan's creature. My favorite, though, and this is out of Germany, Frankenstein's battle against the devil monsters.
None of this translates well at all, man. That's crazy. Shelly's asking about where'd you find? I assume you're talking about the head, the Godzilla head.
Honestly, it's just some of the stuff's just popping up from like Google Images, but I'm like trying to find very specific things. I'm like trying to find like some of the Showa suits because uh, for anyone who doesn't know, a lot of say Japanese cinema, Japanese media, etc. A lot of it's tied to what's considered the Japanese calendar, and this pertains to the ruling emperor. So when 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 one emperor's rule ends, one passes on, etc. Uh, they treat it as if it's a new era. So from I want to say the mid '80s on to about 2018 or 2018 2019 was called the Heisei era, and then in 2019 there was a new emperor, and it's now currently considered the Reiwa era. Whereas before the Heisei was the Showa era. So that's just kind of getting into a lot of this stuff. You'll see people refer to films by these eras. So Showa era Godzilla movies tend to have that kind of cheesier look to them. The Heisei stuff is when you're starting to get the more serious effects. You're starting to get some of the CGI effects in there, and then you have the much more modern stuff now, which is a whole separate era.
Matt says Hedorah is named after the Japanese word for vomit, sludge, and chemical waste. Cool. All right, that makes sense.
I believe it.
Yeah. I was actually looking to see if I could figure out where the original stuff was. Where did the original Godzilla stuff go? Like, they have a museum or something there?
Well, one of the thing I'm kind of, because I've been into so much of the Toku stuff lately that I'm kind of starting to mix things up a little bit. For example, with Ultraman, they would have a giant bonfire where the suits that were just breaking down, they would just burn them.
Interesting. So this is let me share this. This is from a Comic-Con a few years ago. And I knew this was going to be a thing. I don't remember what try to make it as big as I can. Let's see. So this is the display that they did where they were trying to show you some of the stuff for Godzilla 65. So this is between 54 and 19. So you can see some of the props here in the background, and then you can see a little bit of a closer look. So you can see maybe not stuff from the 54 film, but stuff that came along a little bit later. You can see pieces of it there for you. Of course, those are King Ghidorah model heads. Those are the 3 heads. I don't know which of those first films it is, if that's Invasion of Astro Monster or Destroy All Monsters. I don't know for sure. I can't read that there. Maybe we'll get a close up here. Here's one of the ships, the Super X-11. There's one of the buildings in the background as well. This was in Comic-Con 2019. You got a nice close up there.
Destroyer.
Yes. So this was interesting because look at you guys were talking about the prop department, and look at the intricacies of this model. All the stuff that they put in here. That's beautiful. There he is. That's from 72. So that's the Godzilla Gigan. Okay, so that's the King Ghidorah from the 72 film. Okay, cool. So this means Toho still has all this, and they do a tour with it. So that means they will travel with it. So if you're ever somewhere and you see this advertised, then that would be something you might expect seeing is some of this original stuff. There's an oxygen destroyer. Throw that in the water, sucks out all the oxygen, and can kill Godzilla. There you go, Gojira. Look at that head. Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's the Mothra.
Mothra 92. Yeah. Couldn't figure out which one it was. That's one of the close-up heads. Here's your Super X-11 we talked about.
That was what the submarine they used to get to the bottom.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Biolante.
Here's one of the buildings from Shin.
Oh,
Okay, that's a Shin Godzilla building. Wow, they were still doing that in Shin. I thought in Shin they had some other ways of doing it. Okay, cool.
well, I think I had gone and kind of, I think I was under the assumption there was some suit effects for it, but I believe they didn't use an actual rubber suit for Godzilla.
Right. Okay, Godzilla Museum shaped like his head opened in Japan in 2020 on Awaji Island. Huh. Very cool. Yeah, the nuclear power thing. Yeah, that was huge. Commander, totally with you. Totally picked up on that. Yeah, between that and GI Joe, we were all about our ozone layer and nuclear fear and all that kind of stuff. We all, did so.
I mean, it's always just kind of fun to get into. But let's see, Matt. I was trying to
you're getting some love. It's so funny to me. Oh, that's great. Shelly, why do you think I have him here? I got to have somebody that out nerds me.
Which, by the way, to answer the question, Rayla is supposed to be quote beautiful harmony.
Very cool. All right, so that's not one I want to look at. I want to see this one. So this is an article done by Gizmodo back in 2019 as well, and other props. So let me pull this one up. I don't know how to get rid of their sidebar though. Their sidebar is terrible. But this is from their museum. They're kind of taking you on a tour of some of the stuff. But here you can kind of get some of the scale with some of the models that they have. Yeah, let's pull that up. That'll work. There we go. Look how cool that is. This is the oldest existing Godzilla suit, said Shimizu, gesturing to the suit used in the 94 and the 95. So that's, like you were saying earlier, a lot of these suits didn't survive. They were destroyed, repurposed, those kinds of things.
Or in some cases, they quite literally just rotted away because it's all like, foam.
Yeah, the foam That's what happened to one of the ET suits. And the ET suits just like it disintegrated. It just fell apart. Yeah. There he is. Like a marionette, which you can tell, obviously, but that is so cool to see.
There you
can see the foam breaking through.
Oh, yeah.
Especially where you have movement, where they're trying to move pieces, something like that, you're going to get rips and tears and weak spots that are going to give way over age. There's another head. Megagirius. There's the oxygen destroyer we talked about earlier. There's a Mothra model. The props, yeah, there you go. So when you're searching, look for the phrase just include something that involves original prop when you're doing your searches, and you can find some articles. So, there you go. That's what the Whitechapel was talking about, I bet.
Yeah, you can apparently not hang glide, rope swing.
Oh yeah, zip line. Yeah,
that's a zip line onto like a little platform there.
Badass is like, what happens if Godzilla goes there and destroys his own museum? Huh? As long as they film it, Badass, I'm down. As long as they film it. I actually have a friend that's going to Japan, and I said, let's make sure you ask them how they can afford all the insurance and stuff to keep everything, but put everything back together again after every Godzilla attack. And I said, I can neither confirm or deny that's a good idea to ask that question in all seriousness with a straight face, because that's exactly what I would do to embarrass Mrs. Pops. So there you go. Yeah. Lots of dinosaur references, zipline references. Yes. Punk Waddle's in the house. Hey. Awesome.
So I got to ask you.
Yes.
And
feel free.
I can't remember if this was asked last week, but
okay.
What's your favorite Godzilla monster?
The monster itself is probably King G. Yeah, probably King G. Even though I will admit that because of the new movies, Hmm. I don't know if I watch the Kong movie more. See, the problem is I watched the Skull. I probably have watched the Skull Island movie more than any other within the last few years because Mrs. Pops likes Tom Hiddleston so much. It can always go in. There's no pushback from her. But I will admit, um, of the four new movie, four, right? Is that what we agreed on? Four. There's four. Anyway, I fast forward through most of the story. I just watch fun sequences. Of the OG stuff, I love Mechagodzilla. I really love the evolution of Mechagodzilla. Like, I think that if I had to watch, like I was so happy that we decided on doing Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah because those are like my two favorite. It's kind of like a back and forth. I don't like the puppet King Ghidorah as much as I enjoy the OG Mechagodzilla, if that makes sense. But and when you get into the newer movies from the 90s forward, King Ghidorah becomes my favorite and then some. So there you go. Very comprehensive answer. That kind of it's like a 1A and a 1B kind of answer.
Because like with monsters like Mothra or even Rodan to that extent, like they kind of go back and forth between enemies and allies, just kind of depending on do we want Godzilla be the big villain for this movie or not?
Yeah,
Whereas,
I really am. I'm down with Mothra and Rodan. I can't think of anything I don't care for too much. I'm trying to think about some of the older stuff where Gigan's like okay, Smog Monster would probably be okay. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones where I'm just kind of like on. And Gigan, I'm like, it's just such an odd derivative kaiju. Like it's just obviously this like it's Godzilla, it's a Godzilla suit, and then it's like, well, let's put like little loopy hook fins and a fin on the back, and it's just kind of an odd look about it. That's all. So,
well, you see,
oh, that
when
is so cool. Whitechapel. I don't think I've ever seen that, so I'm so happy that that was brought up. That would be so cool to see. What I would do if I had this thing, man, we would have like one of those little sky rides that go around the outside, so you could go around and get pictures and stuff around the outside. That'd be so cool.
oh, there'd have to be like a place in the mouth you could stand and like get
Yeah,
your photo.
no, it'd be the loading area. You would go into the mouth, and that's where it would that'd be the ending of the thing is that you would end up in the mouth. So, very very cool. Punk Waddle, yeah, feel free to join the conversation. Yeah. Is there another Godzilla coming around Christmas time? There is another Godzilla movie coming. I don't know if we're sticking with our release date or not. Where are we at on the new Empire film? I got a feeling it's probably next year. I don't think I've looked because it basically is another Adam Wingard film. I think it's probably going to get pushed. I'm sorry. I'm trying to Google it up. Bear with me.
Well,
Yeah, they're saying March of 24. Yeah.
we do have one slated for this year from Toho, so there's gonna be some sort of
Right.
we don't know anything about it yet, but there is some sort of Japanese Godzilla movie that should be coming out. Which I mean, let's be fair, if we're talking about Godzilla movies, Japan does it better.
That is still slated for November, but they don't. Wait a minute. No, I don't know for sure. So that one is even also sort of like, we have a plan, but I don't think we have an exact date. It's still listed as untitled at this point. So I don't even know if that's going to happen in November as well. So they both have to even the MonsterVerse stuff does involve Toho at least a little bit. They're at least consulted and they're involved in some way, shape, or form. So I think it's one of the reasons that they're not total garbage. They just have been sold on all this human involvement, which is where they go wrong. So.
Well, and part of that is I believe Toho is very protective of the Godzilla stuff for obvious reasons.
Yes, they should be.
And to the point where I believe the Godzilla roar is its own licensed thing. Like you have to pay extra to get the Godzilla roar if you're doing a Godzilla movie, like which is probably why the Matthew Broderick movie didn't have the roar.
That's awful. Yeah, Zach's is saying that is Matthew Broderick is his favorite Godzilla movie. So I don't blame Matthew Broderick as much as I blame Roland Emmerich. So I'll blame Roland Emmerich more than I'll blame the worm guy. But I feel you, Zach. So Listen, Punk Waddle. A lot of it is free, especially the older stuff. The older you go, the more free it is, either on Tubi or Pluto. Pluto has a lot of the original Japanese versions, so you have commercials in there. But if you can just dig through the subtitles, and got to be honest, I've really enjoyed. They were fun. So, Red Colored Kong, cool, yeah. A Christmas Godzilla movie. Christmas Godzilla, yes. Does he eat KFC in the flick? I don't know. Those old G commercials. So
That's a lot of
64, I believe. 62 was the original Kong versus Godzilla. Oh, it was after that.
it's right around there.
But the 64 was the first one, but he's right. It was Kong versus Godzilla first. Yep.
Hmm.
Cool. I haven't watched the original. I have it on DVD. The boys wore those movies out. I had a whole set of the Kong movies. Yeah. Reports out of Japan. They want to release their next movie in November for the 69th anniversary. No title yet. Okay, thanks, Matt. Very
Godzilla.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know about that writer's strike. It will definitely be part of the other movie moving to 24 for sure. So we're going to get a Japanese Godzilla movie this year, and the American Godzilla movie in May, unless it gets pushed back. Yeah, I don't know. It says March, but I assume it's going to get pushed. But, we'll see. Yeah, Common Nerdist couldn't agree more with that assessment as well. Too many humans. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
Oh, I think it's safe to say the Godzilla movie will probably get pushed back as well, just because everything's getting pushed back. So
it's a nice excuse for sure. If anybody understands exactly why they're justifying some of that, they have to do reshoots, so they have to do some rewriting or whatever. They can't do rewriting because it falls under the writer who's on strike. So that's why it doesn't happen. They get pushed back. That's going to be the blame game, how that works. So, yeah, Shrek. Yeah, good reference. Gino 98 is Gino Reno. Yeah, John Reno. Yeah. He is really good, actually. To be or not to be. Yes, that's the hashtag over on Ironcaster's channel. Make sure you drop that in, please. To be or not to be. We're waiting for the regular series. We're going to start figuring that out. Especially if we can simulcast. I'll just make him come on my channel and we'll just simulcast it to his channel. And we're just going to do to be or not to be nights. And that's what we'll do. So maybe we could do once a month. Just go through the entire Tubi library. Guys, if you're not plugged in, Tubi, Pluto, I think there's one called Freevee. Use that a little bit. Plex has some stuff. There is stuff on Roku as well. That's all free. All of this is free. So yeah, there's tons of stuff that you can kind of navigate through, especially with commercials and things like that. So I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to force these worlds to merge back together, and they're going to have to start going back to licensing and stuff like that. It's just not sustainable. So
I think there was a recent report I remember bringing up where, like, Tubi, for example, was getting at least like 1% of the Nielsen ratings.
Yes, they made the radar screen. Yes, they did make the radar screen. Yeah, it was huge deal that they made the radar screen. So, Leia Rose, unless you're volunteering, I need a social media type person. So yeah, Pops does not have a Discord. I can't even make time to go over to everyone else's Discords that I am a member on. I do not, but I need more help with social media before I can do a Discord. So if you want to help me with that, Leia Rose, feel free to reach out. And by the way, I need to get Princess Leia Rose on here again. So we'll figure that out at some point.
I just noticed apparently, I was kind of looking up Nielsen to see if I can find some data here, but apparently Nielsen now tracks video games.
It seems like it's worthy. Yeah, I would see that. That'd make some money. Sure.
I didn't know they did that.
That would make sense. Tubi does have a lot, and Tubi does roll through like some really good, like I'm talking top tier, top shelf. Like, and we're coming up on Shark Week, guys. We're coming up on Shark Week in a few weeks, July 11th through July 18th, and I guarantee you're going to have a ton of shark content on there. You aren't going to want to miss this channel because we will have back-to-back Shark Week content. So stay tuned on that. Make sure you check back on old Talk Hard schedule here. We got a plan. So, oh yes, Whitechapel. Yes, we did like a whole thing on martial arts. Tubi and Pluto both also, again, have a lot of stuff. Pluto tends to also have stuff in its original format. So if you're okay with subtitles and you kind of want to get a good feel for Like sometimes the sound and the editing is a little bit different. Nothing as dramatic as the Raymond Burr cut. The Raymond Burr Godzilla cut is completely different, but there are some differences. Whitechapel, but yeah, good point. Very good point. Yes, throw up those shot castas because the shot cast is coming. So let's see. So next week, 50th show. 50th show. 50. Chris, we made it to 50. I know. Chris has been here. He knows. It's been crazy. 50 shows. It's been nuts. It's hard to believe already. Then we'll have a replay. We will I don't know what we should do there, Ironcast. We'll have to pick a show. Maybe after this we'll just pick one. Then
Maybe
the week after that. Huh?
Maybe we should go back to the moon.
No, we are not going back to the moon. No, it has to be from this year. We said no, I'm not falling for your schemes. That's too much of a stretch. He got greedy. See what he did there, folks? He got a little too greedy. He went for the top. He went for the most extreme. He tried to Overton window me.
Shark Week is coming up, and it's let's jump them off at the pass. Let's get a little shark slipping in.
Well, you and I need to talk offline about having some shark content for Shark Week. However, here on Talk Hard on the 11th, we will do the Meg. The Meg is out there, so we'll definitely have the Meg. And then the week after, on the 18th, to close out Shark Week, if you want to have some fun and you want to have a laugh, be here with us on July 18th, because I guarantee if you could just see Loki face palming, we will be doing Cocaine Shark. Yes, Cocaine Shark. Yeah, Shelly. Shark. If you're a new member, you hit those emojis. There's a shark caster emoji. Feel free to shark cast it up because it is there. It's for those of you who don't know where that comes from. So maybe Ironcast, I think we take it for granted that we have these clips and stuff. We don't do them enough. So let's give everybody a little taste of what that actually came from.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, see, that never gets old. It never gets old. So yeah, there's plenty of emojis there for you guys to play with, to have some fun with. It's great. Ronan's in the house. Hey there, what's going on? Some sharks eat penguins. It's not my favorite week. Well, you know what? It's safe here, Buckwaddle. It's safe. I can just tell you that. It's a nice, safe place. I'm a big fan of penguins myself, so I can do my part to make sure that you are well protected, well taken care of. So. But yeah, Whitechapel, hit those emojis, keep them coming. So yeah, sharks are coming. We're gonna wrap up our kaiju. I'm trying to get to some other kaiju content. I will say this: at 8:00 tonight, a common idiot, he's going to be doing Pacific Rim. So that'll be kind of a fun little thing over there. If you're not part of his channel, make sure you go over and check his out. That'll be kind of cool. I don't know what else I can squeeze in because I can't believe it's already the 20th of the month. I only have like another week. So I'm not sure what else I can squeeze in. I come up with these grand ideas, but it doesn't always work out. So Zach knows. Yes, Sharkcasta.
You know, if you're looking for a kaiju movie that's out there, might I recommend the movie Big Man Japan?
Big Man Japan. Well, Whitechapel is recommending Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf 2015.
Oh my God. You got me at Whale Wolf.
He's totally watching that. See, this is Ironcaster's niche because he'll watch these things and start breaking them down. I'm telling you, man, has a white shark ever went against an orca? I'm certain at some point. It's not going to hold its own against an orca. I mean, just no way. They're just so much bigger. Matt's sending me something. All right, I'll be on that while Ronan says Pacific Rim is the best worst movie ever. Not sure. Yeah, we could put that in the category of have a conversation about that, the best worst movies. That's the kind of thing that Zach's channel is great for. He has that kind of stuff over there all the time. It's always a lot of fun.
Well, the big problem with doing a third Pacific Rim is the fact that the second one happened.
So yeah, Godzilla versus
it's Gypsy.
Mystery Science Theater, right? It's just Gypsy, the three-headed monster. You'd think they'd send us a good one. Oh, Laura's birthday, no less. So yeah, That's pretty fun.
Richard Baseheart.
Yes. Happy birthday, Laura, from Mike Moon. Zero. Yeah, fun. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. And I've said, listen, with all the hate of Pacific Rim, and I am no fan of like rewatching it or anything like that. It's because it was really built up to be like, Rock'em Sock'em Robot stuff, and it was like just not. And it was just the timing when it came out, and just it didn't go for me. I'm not watching the second one ever again. I'm not doing that.
I will say that the first one was a great watch back when it came out, because I remember getting to see that one in IMAX. That one was high up on my list.
I think I just expected more because it was Guillermo. You know what I mean? It's a Del Toro movie, and we had higher expectations, but it was not horrible. It's not, it's a terrible film or anything like that. So yeah, Pettis says he saw Orca. Yeah, they are something. They are something. Yeah. Well, guys,
we love all of our sea life friends. From Punkwild down to the little seals.
Oh, Ironcaster's showing off seals and fuzzy critters.
Aww.
Yeah. Punkwaddle, yeah. Pacific Rim, the first one's decent. Second one, disappointing. Disappointing is really an understatement. First one is, again, decent. It's probably a little better than decent. It's okay. It's good. It's okay. But yeah, the second one it's a complete mess. So they could reboot and put in the future. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to go back to that or not. I don't even know who owns all the Pacific Rim stuff. I don't even know who gets credit for creating that. Does anybody know? You guys, is that a Gijo thing, or does he co-own that with the writer? I don't know.
I think Lionsgate has something with it. So I think there was always kind of talk. I remember for years the talk was that they would always try to work in Godzilla and King Kong and Pacific Rim to do some sort of like monster verse of its own.
It always seemed like it was going to be the step to the humans would get to, so they'd be able to fight back or protect themselves, and it's like it would be included in these movies in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, seal made an appearance. There you go. The orcas are dolphins, not whales. Oh geez, now we're getting too specific. I know what you mean, Matt. I got you. So you guys are fine. Legendary owns it. Okay, well, I didn't know if I know they own the rights and the distribution type stuff, but I didn't know if Del Toro is holding them hostage because he owns it, because he's the actual creator of it or something. Because that is sometimes the tie up with these things. You can tick off a creator, and then you end up at a standstill at just nothing's going to happen anytime soon. So maybe that's why. I don't know. No, Kaiju's been fun, my friend. What else have you been able to enjoy, if anything?
So one of the things that's been taking up a lot of my time from what I've been able to watch has been One Piece, of all things, which is kind of one for a about monthly show or so that I've been starting up with Brandon, the anime guy, where we are piecemealing out the 1,000+ episodes, 1,000 chapters of One Piece.
Okay. Very cool.
And we will be back this Saturday for the next installment. So we'll be delving into, for anyone to know, the Barati and Arlong Park for one of probably the better emotional moments at this early stage of the series. So this is kind of one of those moments that gets people into the action, or draws people in.
Very, very cool. So this is what I found, and I have not finished it. There is a graphic novel that ties to all this. It's called Dominion. It's a prequel to Godzilla vs. Kong. So I didn't care for the cover. So I was like, I don't know. Definitely didn't think I was going to buy a physical copy. So I was like, all right, well, let me kind of see. And then I kind of got into it a little bit. And it's told from Godzilla's perspective. So some of the designs of Godzilla, like you said earlier, Ironcaster, like they kind of flatten his head too much. I'm not particularly thrilled with the way his head gets. But it's inconsistent. So see, like in this shot, it doesn't look that bad in this panel. But in other angles, it looks too flat for me. But it's an interesting perspective of him. You know, it looks like just a ton of nice kaiju action, to be honest, because it takes place more from his point of view. So I don't know that I'm going to get through the whole graphic novel in time and kind of get it done by June, but this is out there. It's kind of a fun little read, kind of a fun, again, not a lot of reading. It's like, you know, it's just a kaiju story. So, you know, it is what it is.
Well, if you're looking for more Godzilla action, I believe it's IDW has
they have the current license.
Godzilla license, and they've been putting out a lot of books. Like there's one called, for example, Godzilla Goes to Hell. There's also for the crossovers with Boom Studios, Godzilla versus the Power Rangers.
Well, that one I remember, yeah. And then, of course, there's the old faithful Godzilla versus Barkley. Charles Barkley's out there.
Oh, right. I wish we could like show the trailer, but who knows with it.
I've never read this Power Ranger one. Have you?
I have the issues. I just have them piling up. I need to get to it. I'm looking at the issues right now.
So I didn't recognize any of the creative people. And I got a few pages in and was kind of like meh on the look of it and the feel of it. But, you know, I don't want to like totally seem like I'm dogging either because I like that moment. My Godzilla looks pretty good right there. Yeah. So, yeah, there are some comics. There's some fun other stuff out there. That's cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah, there's Ronan saying the same thing. Just read that one. Okay. His form in movies are based around bears, my favorite animal, especially apparent when he's swimming and fighting Kong. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh God, Lord help us, Zax. Oh Lord help us. Oh
no.
Whitechapel sub to Ironcaster. There's our palate cleanser. We don't have to talk about that previous comment from Zax. Thank you, Whitechapel. Thank you so much. So, let's see. Nice catching up with you too, Shelly. Thank you again for all the donations and stuff like that. So, and Pat says, yeah, the Ironcaster is close to 500. We're getting there. So, that's awesome. Yeah, Pat has that cover. I don't know. It's tricky. There is an old Godzilla Dark Horse. Yeah, that's true. Some of them are great, and the Marvel one is really fantastic. But that is some OG stuff there. Finding those, that's some really old stuff. So there, yeah, yeah, very good. Very good.
Well, the problem is though, with that being still like in production with all the writer strikes, I wouldn't necessarily count on it to go through because.
You mean the next Kong film?
Oh no, I'm talking about that TV show.
Oh, the TV show. Oh yeah, no, I don't put any credence in that TV show. It's what Zach was saying. This stuff's been talked about. I don't know what to say. She got one of her Amazon thing. Amazon picked up one of her things, so she'll probably be preoccupied with that. So with the writer's strike, we'll just kind of wait and see what happens. I don't know. It's too early to say what's going to survive. I actually have a video coming up later this week about a couple of indie comic books that got picked up. It's like, do they survive or not? I'm going to throw out my thoughts and give you a couple of examples of things that have been optioned and to see where we're at on that. Because there was a new one that came out this week if something got picked up. So, but Ironcaster, my friend, we got through Kaijun. It was a fun time. It's great to talk about some fun stuff. Folks, if you're not already subscribed, I don't know what's happening. Get up in there and check out some content. We've done King Kong. We've talked about Godzilla stuff, Mecha, and now King Ghidorah. So it's been a lot of fun. So, yeah, the Barkley stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to pull that comic book up. I closed it. Yeah, it's on that app. So, but it's always been great hanging out and talking about this kind of stuff with you, my brother. So what else you got going on? I think you briefly mentioned some stuff, but let's just rehash real quick. Make sure everybody's all caught up on how to connect with you.
Let's see. Friday night, I'll be on with 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser to cover some Amazing Spider-Man issues 21 through 40 from the 1960s. So we're going through a couple, or 21 through 24. We're going through a few more issues of the original 60s Spider-Man. Saturday morning, I'll be on with Brandon the Anime Guy for some One Piece coverage of about 20 episodes or so. That evening is going to be T-shirt historians for the Week in Geek, where I'm sure we'll no doubt be talking about whatever Wizards of the Coast did this week, because it's a day that ends in Y and they're up to something. Saturday night is going to be the Cotton Council with Snow Dub and Punk Waddle and all the little fine folks, including my little friend Charlie.
Oh, there you go. Everybody's around.
I didn't do it. Well, I'm not cleaning this mess up. You sure?
Here we go. Well, make sure you definitely connect to Ironcaster and get yourself immersed in all the stuff that he's been working on. He's always great stuff. So, Waddle, did you mean that you don't know Godzilla versus Sir Charles? Yes, there is such content. There's also a video commercial. There's stuff. There's content, my friend. Yes. Yeah, Cotton Council's being a reference here, my friend. There's Matt. He'll be doing Pacific Rim later. Make sure you check out his channel. So, yeah, it's great. So, awesome. Well, tomorrow is Comic Book Day. So, yes, right here, Comic Book Wednesdays. We'll be doing some good and bad and otherwise. So the first thing I'll kick off at 10:15 because my videos come out right after Loki show's over. So 10:15 will be Comic Talk. We have Why It's Great. So we'll give you some good comic books to go get. So there's a couple of good examples there. James Mealy on with me doing that. And then we have some different reviews. I wish I could tell you I was out there promoting a whole bunch of great comic books this week, but sometimes, you got to dig through some stuff to get to the good ones. So anyway, there's Marvel Tales has reprints. Yeah. So if anybody wants to try to get a physical copy of the OG, like Ditko type stuff, like what Ironcaster was mentioning earlier with 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, they're going through like Ditko Spider-Man. So that's the really, really old stuff from the early 60s. Marvel Tales of reprint stuff. If you like X-Men stuff, you can go to some of the X-Men have been reprinted as well. So, some of those things you can find in more economical outlets. So there you go. Oh, Ironcaster's throwing out my link. I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
Make sure to do it more often.
Is that puppet named Tubi? He should have a puppet named Tubi. That's for sure. That is freaking great.
That is Charlie B. The B is short for Baca.
Oh. So I think, but I think Whitechapel, I think that they need a sister. Tubi. Tooby. Maybe. We'll see. DJ Ronnie G made it. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing all right. So Yes. Awesome. So, but yeah, it's going to be a busy week this week. I got a lot of content coming, some reviews, some different things going on. We appreciate you guys so much for being here, hanging out, talking hard. Next week, 50th show. We're going to celebrate a little bit, probably open the gateway, let you guys come in here, maybe share a story or two or something we've enjoyed or whatever. So we'll be hanging out. Definitely wishing Stone Loki well with his move. Hope things continue to hammer out well for him. It goes well. And folks, listen, it's been great having all of you in here. Thanks for the interaction. Ironcaster, my brother. What a great show. Thank you so much for doing everything you do and hanging out. And as Shelly says, you're a great nerd. What can I say? That's why we're here. You're among friends. You're among friends. This is definitely in his wheelhouse. You think this is crazy? Wait till you see him during Shark Week. Oh my gosh. We're going to control this guy. Anyway, thanks folks for being here, hanging out with us. Be blessed. Make tomorrow a little better than today. Talk hard. Thanks again for watching. I am Pops.
Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.